Welcome to North Texas Revealed. On today's adventure, we will travel to the true birthplace of John Wesley Hardin, notorious Wild West outlaw. Countless authors have attributed his birthplace as Bonham, Texas. While this is somewhat true, the actual location was 12 miles southwest of Bonham, or to be more accurate, just 2 miles north of Orangeville. 25 years later, in 1878, the city of Whitewright would be established, making it the closest city to the Hardin farm. Origins of interest in John Wesley Hardin. As a child, I was given 3 handmade plaques by my dear Aunt Cheryl. Wanted posters of bad men such as Billy the Kid, Jesse James, and John Wesley Hardin. The plaques adorned my walls for the years and years and sparked the imagination of a young child. Just who were these wanted characters, these bad men? At family gatherings, if the subject of John Wesley Hardin came up, it was not the preferred subject of my grandmother Hardin. Robbie, Mary, and Hardin came from hard stock, seasoned and pious people, strong in their faith and moral in their conviction. Who would be the first to point out that his father was a God-fearing man, a devoted preacher and servant of God? Still, there was something that sparked my interest. My relatives always wondered if he was ever indeed related to the family. But at that point, it was only curious speculation. No one knew whether he was or not. As it turns out, John Wesley Hardin and my grandmother Robbie Marion Hardin were, in fact, cousins. John was a third cousin once removed to Robbie. John Wesley Hardin was born the second child of Reverend James Gibson Hardin and his wife Mary Elizabeth Hardin. By most accounts, John's birthplace was listed as Bonham, Texas. It's much like saying I live in Dallas. Bonham at the time was the largest town around those parts, so naturally John just said, I'm from Bonham, Texas. The truth is, the town closest to the family's property at the time was Orangeville, Texas, 2.5 miles southeast. It dates back to 1836 when it was founded by Daniel Dugan. As the crow flies, Bonham was located 12 miles northeast. This piece of property was purchased by his father as a place to plant his roots and get off the preaching circuit. He and his wife, his oldest son, settled there just before John came along on May 26, 1853. Consisting of 192 acres, the property was a section of land carved out between the William R. Rice Survey and the Anderson Survey. The original log structure is long gone, but the 4 pecan trees planted then to mark out the corners of the home are still standing today. Purchased in 1852, the site is located just southwest of the later developed city of Whitewright, Texas, just east of FM 151, and just a few feet north of what would later become the tracks of the east-west running Cotton Belt Railroad line. Later, a cemetery would be located about 100 yards to the west of the Hardin homestead, called Sears-Doss Cemetery. 3 of John's mother's relatives are buried in the Sears-Doss Cemetery: Susanna Ricketts Dixon, William Dixon, and Iris Jack Dixon.